All right. Hello. How's everyone doing today? All right. Morgan Heitzma here, Director of Agent Services for the Experience Brokerage Network. And welcome to the very first study hall of 2021. Here, let me get a full camera up here. I wanted to invite you all to study hall every Wednesday at 10 a.m. So if you guys missed today's study hall, just know that every Wednesday, as long as there's no holidays or any kind of trainings that we had to sneak off to, every Wednesday you guys will have a study hall. So just keep in mind that that on kwtechhelp.com you guys should see a join us live button on the home screen. Just go ahead and give that a click, and then click on study hall, and this is where that study hall page should be here for you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just give you a few basics of what this page kind of consists of. So right here, as you guys see, you have this main view here, so you can kind of see me live. Off to my right, you guys should see a voting checkbox right here. So through every class, probably like 10 minutes before class starts, please go ahead and vote for the topics that you guys are hoping to be discussed within today's study hall. So the more votes the more topics that get votes, the more likely it is that we are going to lock that in for today's class and training. So without further ado, let's jump back over to that class screen. What do we have here today? So it looks like we have contacts. We're going to jump through contacts first, and then we're going to make our way to opportunities. Then we're going to jump into some designs and then some campaigns today. So this is what our study hall today is going to consist of. So just keep that in mind on your left-hand side, and we should be able to cover all of these topics here today. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Again, my name is Morgan Heitzma. I am the Director of Technology and Innovation for the Experience Brokerage Network. So if you guys have any questions or want a one-on-one training to dive a little bit deeper into any specific topics, please reach out to me at asd@experiencebrokerage.network.com. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. So our first topic today is going to be contacts. So without further ado, let's make our way to a command. Command is going to be best utilized through the Google Chrome browser. So if you're using, say, Safari or Internet Explorer, there could be certain situations where certain pages just won't load correctly, or it will give you that forever spinning wheel. So we just like to first start off by saying that it's going to be best, the command platform is going to be best used on the Chrome browser. All right, let's go ahead and jump in here. We're inside the Google Chrome browser. If we type in agent.kw.com, it'll take us to our command login page. Notice how I did not put www right here, because if I do, it may say that my connection is not private, or my connection, or it may direct me to a generic KW landing page. So just be sure not to add the wwws in right there, and we should be fine. It should take us to our command page right here. And again, if you guys have any questions throughout study hall, just use the chat box down below. I should be able to respond back to you in real time. And be able to engage in conversation with you. But we'll make our way to agent.kw.com. This is the command home screen right here. And we'll use our KW login information. This is going to be the same login that you use for your MyKW, for command, for your connect. It's generally the first letter of your first name followed by your last name. Sometimes if it's a pretty common combination, there may be a number associated at the end. And just know that you also are able to change this in your MyKW. So if you do have your full name out right here, it is editable. But generally, it's the first letter of your first name followed by your last name right here. So we'll go ahead and we'll sign into Command. And I'm going to treat this kind of like the very first time that we've kind of jumped into these topics here. So first and foremost, what we're going to do is we're going to make our way to the left-hand side here where we see all these different icons. And if we click on this red KW square up here, it'll actually open up these icons' titles so we can read them a little bit easier. It makes it a little bit easier to navigate as we're looking for specific tools within Command. So I'll go ahead and click on this red KW square right here, and I'm going to make my way to Contacts right here. So jumping into Contacts, I'm just going to first start off by saying that this is going to be probably one of the most important sections inside of Command. So everything is going to draw from your contacts. In other words, if you have a client that's not in your database as a contact, chances are you will not be able to utilize the features that Command has available for you. So, for example, you won't be able to send your client emails or set them up on transactions or opportunities, which we'll get to here in a moment. Everything's going to draw from the contacts. It's going to say who inside of your database do you want to attach this task or feature to. So as we sit right here, we're inside the contact section right here. First thing to note is this top section right here above this gray bar is pretty much going to be your tools for your database. Down below right here is going to be your actual database where you can see all your contacts and things like that. So one thing to note, I'm going to start off on the bottom right-hand corner of your kind of tool section up here, and it says show 1 of 10 right here. So if I give this a click right here, so as you see, I only have 10 contacts that I'm showing. And if I give this a click, I can actually show up to 500 contacts. So again, this just kind of helps me not have to click next page, or if I'm trying to apply a bulk action to a number of contacts in my database, I can do more than 10 at a time. So again, you can show 10, 25, 50, 100, or 500 contacts. Now, again, this shows all of your contacts right here by your show 1 of however many. And the next thing I want to show you is going to be on this gray bar right here. So these are pretty much just like your headers, your name, last visited, last contacts, and so on. But you also have this checkbox right here on your gray bar. And if I give this a click right here, it'll check all of the individuals that you have. So I showed up to 500 contacts right here, but since I have less than 500 contacts in my database, it shows all of them. And when I select this checkbox right here, it actually gives me the opportunity to select all of the contacts that I'm currently showing. And with this checkbox right here, what we can do is we can have a bulk action drop down. So the only way that this bulk action drop down shows is if we click on any of these check boxes right here on their name, and we'll get a bulk action. So here we can apply a certain tool or feature onto all of these contacts at a time. So really cool to be able to apply a number of contacts to a smart plan or export just these contacts and so on. So how do we get contacts into our database? So kind of jump the gun here. I'm going to show you there's a couple different ways to get a contact inside of your Command database here. So the first way is going to be adding a contact. So this is just going to be a very simple way. Say you engage in a conversation with somebody and they hand you their business card. What we can do a little bit later on, we can come to our Command platform, we can add a contact, and we can just start to fill out that contact information right here. So Morgan Heitzma, if you know that this person has a relationship with somebody else, like a father, son, husband, wife, anything like that, we do ask that you keep the contacts separate, but you can always marry them together right here. So if I have somebody else, like let's just say my partner Jet, let's see here. Partner, I believe I have Jet in my database. So now I can start to marry these two contacts together while still keeping their contact information separate, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to remove that relationship right there. And then this next section right here, this is probably going to be the most important when it comes to your contacts. So Command tries to make sure that we don't add a lot of duplicates. And one of those features to make sure that we don't add duplicates to our database is cross-referencing our primary email and primary phone numbers with our contacts. So if a contact has a primary email associated with them and you try to upload a different contact with that same email, chances are it'll peg it as a duplicate and probably more likely than not transfer that contact into your database. So just keep in mind that primary email and primary phone number are basically the solid foundations of what your contacts draw off of, just to know that they are that solid copy and not a duplicate. So go ahead and fill in your information right here. You can choose a personal email, work, or other. Same thing with phone number, a mobile, home, or cell phone. Here, if you want to select from a lead source or for contacts, what I can do, I can toggle this right here, and as you see, it'll actually change my bottom section right here. So lead source type, I can select from a list. So let's just say it's a community events. Let's say I met this person at a community event. I can select from that lead source, or I can select from contacts. Say, let's just say Jet was the one that's introduced me to this lead right here. We can have Jet as that lead source. Next, right here, we can have the option to mark as a lead or add to the sales pipeline. So again, if you know that you're going to be using this contact as a lead and starting to engage in those lead activities, we can go ahead and mark it as a lead, and it will have a little blue L right next to their names right here. I'll go ahead and keep this marked, and I'll show you here in a second. Next, we have tags. And I want to stop for a moment and just let you guys know how important tags actually are. So if you think in terms of the importance of command in the entirety, right? I already first started by saying that everything draws from your contacts, and that's true. So if your lead is not inside of your database, chances are you can't use any of the tools and features to apply to that contact. Now, tagging right here is going to be pretty much just as important. So the second thing that would be just as important would be filling in as much information as you can on the contact, right? So for example, if you add their email address, then you'd be able to send them email campaigns. And so on, right? If you add their birthday, then you'll be able to send them birthday emails. Same thing with home anniversary. So the more information that you gather on your contact, the more tools and resources that will unlock for you within Command, if that makes sense. Tags are just as important. So when you get to the point where you are wanting to send any kind of marketing or campaigning out to your database, the easiest way to do this would be through tags. So I'm going to say the functionality for this would be spend some time to set up your database with tags so you can save yourself time in the future when you're trying to apply these people to marketing and so on. So, for example, I would go through and I would mark myself as a lead, and I'd mark myself as a, let's just say, sample as well. And if you don't have tags in here, you can always write one out. So I wrote tests right here. And as you write a tag out right here, you can actually create that custom tag. So I can write tests and I can choose a color. And I can hit add right here. And then you'll see that my tests start to apply. One last thing that I'd like to mention is you should see different colors inside of your tags right here. So everything in gray, I believe, has everything in gray is the system tags. So which means Command automatically created these tags for you, just in case if you couldn't come up with any tags of your own. Okay, so you can't change these system tags at all because those are those stock system tags. But what you can do is you can either utilize and use them, or you can create other tags of your own. And so as we start to build these tags out for our contacts, what you guys will start to notice is when you're starting to send email campaigns out, you can write, you can choose just a tag. Say, I only want to send it to my people who have sample labeled as their tag, or send only to my new contacts or my past clients, things like that. So now you can start to strategize with just a click of a button on which tag do you want to send this stuff out to. So way, way, way easier and less time consuming than going one at a time trying to search for these contacts in your database. So next we have add more information right here. So I'll go ahead and click add more information. And as you see right here, you have 3 more drop downs. I'm just going to cover this briefly. As you see right here, you have preferred method of contact. And as you have down here, you have addresses. So as you start to populate this right here, then you'll be able to send neighborhood nurtures out to your contacts. So not only will you be able to send them personalized home stats, but you'll be able to send them a neighborhood nurtures, which is just an automated email once or twice a month that you just set up and forget, and it'll create their very own website for them to look at their localized stats with their neighborhood. About right here, this is what I was talking about with the birthday and home anniversary. So if you know their birthdays, then you can go ahead and set them up on birthday smart plans, which we'll get to here in another study hall. But again, very, very easy to be able to find their information. If you have their, like, say, social media, birthdays would be a pretty easy one to gather. I think emails may be also relatively easy if you have their social media as well, and so on. So once we have this right here, we can go ahead and click on create. And once we create this, it should take us to that contact. So let me type in Morgan. It's a great way to showcase my search button right here too. If we want to search for a specific contact, this is where we can search for them. And we can search by their first name, last name, email, address, and everything. So I'll just keep it on everything. And as you see right here, we have a couple samples, but this is the one that we're working on currently. And since I marked it as a lead, you'll have this blue L appear right here. So this is how you can keep track of your leads. If I go ahead and click on this contact right here, you'll have your left-hand side is going to be your information that you've added on the contact, and the right-hand side is going to be everything that's going to start to populate that you're doing for your contact or that your contact's responding to. So this is going to be your timeline right here, and they have other tabs as well. Like smart plans. If I wanted to just quickly set this contact up on a smart plan, I can do that as well and see which opportunities they're at and so on. So that's how you add a contact. You can also import a contact right here. I'm just going to go over this pretty quickly. when we click import, it says download the pre-made CSV to upload your contacts into the KW command system. We'll go ahead and click on download right here. And it actually gives us a downloadable template. We'll go ahead and give this a click. And what we'll see right here is we'll see that there's two rows right here first. And these two rows, they have to stay unchanged, okay? So you cannot edit, remove, add, delete any of these, okay? So that's the rule number one. If you change any of these bits of information up top here in these first two columns or two rows, you'll see that that your import will not import correctly. So my best suggestion for you would be to do this right here. So if you're importing a database of your own, what we can do is I would take this in two steps. Part one, I would just focus on one contact, because one contact, if this does not upload correctly, one contact is going to be a little bit easier to recognize where our error is, as opposed to, say, 500 contacts, right? So first, we just want to make sure that we can upload this contact correctly. So we're just going to use one contact and focus on one. Since we cannot change these headers up here, what I would suggest is I would copy and then from your import and then paste it right here. So from your database, copy and paste the first name. If your export does not have a middle name, we can skip that, and then we can paste the last name right here. Birthday, home anniversary, and so on. So again, this may seem tedious, but this is just part one. This is just for us to know where we need to place the first name, last name, home anniversary, primary phone number, and so on. Okay, so once we have these bits of info, I usually like to use the first name, last name, phone number, and email. But again, you can use just one contact's a full list of information. And when you save it, you can just drag and drop it into here. And one of two things will happen. It will say that your upload was either successful or unsuccessful. Now, if it was successful, then we know exactly how to upload these contacts, okay? So now, instead of going one at a time, copying and pasting, what I would suggest is I would go by column and then copy all of the first names in your export list and then paste them right here. Look, just like that, with me talking, I highlighted 185 names that I could have pasted their first name onto this list right here. Last name, we'll paste all of their last names right here in this column. And really all you have to do is right click right here and then hit paste. So right on the bar. So you don't have to really highlight anything. Just right click and then paste, and it should grab that full column for you and paste it appropriately. So really at this point, you're really copying and pasting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 7 to 10 pieces of columns. So it doesn't matter how many contacts you have in your database. You can have 100, you can have 1,000. This method should be relatively the same. It should take the same amount of time, regardless of the contacts. So again, this is how you would import your contacts. And again, if there's some of these things that you don't use, like prefix and suffix, again, don't delete that because it'll ruin your template. What we can do is we can right click, and if you guys may have a hide column section, so we can actually just hide these columns, and hopefully that kind of helps you retain that template while also being able to see your export database list a little bit easier. And that's how you would import your template. Now, if something goes wrong and it says that import failed, what we can do is we can go and we can click on the top right-hand corner click on our name, and then settings right here. Inside of settings, what you guys will see is we'll have this skinny little section. We'll go ahead and click on command settings and then import logs. You'll only have one option, which is my logs right here. This shows you all of the imports that you have made to your command database right here. So again, it'll show you the date that your import started, the date it completed, how many contacts were imported, how many failed. And this is the cool part. You may not see it. It may be cut off right here. But if I hover over, I should be able to drag this over a little bit. And you should see original file and error file, where you can download just the number of contacts that had an error. So if you imported 100 contacts and only one contact came in through as an error, we can download just that one contact, and it should let us know where they found that issue inside of our data, inside of our template. It should say error with the email address. Maybe you had a .com instead of .com. And that would be pretty much about it for the contacts. There's a couple other sections right here where we can cover briefly, and one is going to be let's see here. So you have your add contact, your import. If you want to export your entire database, there's these three dots right here on the right hand side. We can export all owned contacts, export as mailing labels, or mailing labels as PDF. One other thing that we can do, there's two options here as well. Inside of our database, we can customize our columns. So for example, if there's since I don't have anything in stage right here, I don't really need to see the stage section. So I can go up here, I can customize my columns, and it says all available columns, and then I can organize my columns right here. So I'm just going to actually uncheck stage. I'm going to hit apply, and as you see right here, my stage will be removed. Boom, there we go. And maybe I'll customize my columns again and say I like to have my my phone numbers and then emails here first. So what I can do on the right hand side is I can scroll down and I can go primary phone number. I can drag this to the top, and then primary email, and then apply, and then you'll see that it'll apply on the left hand side right here. Phone number, email, and then it'll start to give me that other information. So this is how you'll be able to customize your different columns right here. You also have filters. If I go ahead and click on filters, we can filter our contacts based off of a certain criteria. So if you want to filter based off of only your leads, I'll click leads only, scroll down here, apply, and you can see only the leads that are inside my database right here. If I want to do something else, I'll do all contacts right here. If I want to filter by individuals who do not have a neighborhood associated, I can hit apply right here, and then it'll show me all of those contacts, 14 contacts right here. So this is how you would be able to filter your contacts. You can filter by your tags, you can filter by last visited, birthday, and so on. Now, if any of you have any questions on contacts inside of the command platform, please shoot me some comments down below, and I'll be sure to answer any questions that you guys have. But I think at this point I think we've successfully accomplished the contact section here within KW Command. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a X, and then we'll just go ahead and continue onward here. So next, what we have is our opportunities. So go ahead and click on this red KW square again. We'll make our way to opportunities. And when you think opportunities, here, I'll open this up again so you guys can see where it is on the left-hand side. When you think opportunities, I want you to think transactions. Opportunities, transaction, right? So only opportunities expand a little bit further beyond the transaction field. So if we look at this list right here, we have listings, buyers, and leases. We don't really focus on leases too much. We usually really just stick within the listing and buyers side right here. But as you notice, both of these lists right here, these pipelines, are exactly the same. Cultivate, appointment, active, under contract, and closed right here. if we think about the world of transactions, our transactions really only partake under the under contract and closed side right here. So everything up until that point is the moment that a lead comes through to the moment that you close on the deal. So the moment a lead comes through and clicks on your social media ad, for example, or if you meet somebody face to face in public, what you can do is you can add them to your contacts right here and then create an opportunity for them. So what we have right here is on the top right-hand corner, we have create opportunity, much like that add contact. And if we click on create opportunity, what's really cool about Command is if you can successfully add a contact, you'll notice that all the other forms are very similar. So you should have a pretty easy time to a pretty easy time when it comes to adding forms to your Command platform. So I just switched back over to my personal Command here. Up top, if you belong to a team, you may have your team's opportunities as well as your opportunities. We'll get to that here in a moment after we create one. So first and foremost, when we create an opportunity, it's important to note that we first have to have a contact in our database that we want to create this opportunity for. So if we don't have that contact added, it won't show up in the dropdown. But first, we need to select a market center. Now, chances are most of you belong to one market center. If you belong to multiple, you may have a dropdown right here. Just be sure to select the correct market center because this is where your transaction and your opportunities are going to be sent to. If you only have one, it may be grayed out where you won't have to worry about that. Next, you have your team section right here. And in teams, this will only be available if you're part of a team or not, or part of a group. So teams are going to be, if I select this right here, you'll see that I have KWES Tech Team. If you belong to a team or a group, please select your team. If you do not, it's kind of represents, it says that this opportunity is going to be a personal transaction with solely me, and my team has nothing to do with my personal transaction. So again, if you belong to a team and you do not check this, your team will not be able to see, edit, or view this particular opportunity. And then we have our opportunity type. Is this going to be a listing or a buyer? Now, be mindful, once we select this and hit create, we will not be able to change it back, okay? So be mindful on which side this is. Is this a listing or a buyer? Now, if this is a listing, what we ask that you change this opportunity name right here to the listing address, because this is going to be the easiest way for your principal reviewing broker to review your documents and help approve them for you a little bit quicker. So opportunity name, if it's a listing, we'll already know the listing street. If it's a buyer, what we can do is right below opportunity type, we can click on the client's name. And it may populate to the, here, let me see if I can do this again. It may populate to the opportunities contact plus buyer. Now, this is fine for now, but just keep in mind that we will want to change this once we find a listing or a property for your client. We'll just want to change this later to that address once more. But since we have a buyer right here and we haven't found a property for them yet, it's perfectly fine that we leave this the way it is. I kind of skipped over a couple things right here. Your opportunity type, this is where we left off. But the owner is going to be the person who owns the contact. So who owns the contact? That would be me right here. If you're part of a team, it may be the team that owns that contact or somebody else who owns the contact. So We also have the opportunity to add that co-seller again. So much like that add a contact, I can add Jet right here to add right along with my opportunity. Just again, keeping the information separate, but still grouping up the deals and things like that together. So next down here, we have custom tags. So again, if you want to tag your opportunities out, again, this would be based off of your business and how you like to run things. Do you want to do this by geolocation? Do you want to do this by past client, new lead? Anything you want to represent or help group up your opportunities to be able to view them a little bit easier, this is where you can do that. We also have the estimated closing date. As you see, it's not required right here, but as we move closer to those commissions, it will ask us for that in order to close our commission report. So we can skip that right here. Our estimated listing price, we can skip that again. Commission rate. Oops. There we go. And then right down below, you have this unique opportunity to say if you are actually halfway through an opportunity, right? This isn't actually just a brand new lead that I met. This is somebody that I've been working with for a few weeks, and we actually are somewhere further along in the transaction or the opportunity. So what we can do right here in our opportunity phase, we can actually move them along all the way up until that under contract and close, because once we get that under contract and close, it locks in like it's an active deal that's going on. So we can click cultivate. We can move it all the way up to active and negotiations right here. So we can move it all the way up to active negotiations on the listing side, and then I'll hit create right here. Now, once I hit create, it'll take me to this page right here. I'm going to jump out of this really quickly just so I can show you how to get into it on a day-to-day basis, okay? So just keep in mind what this page looks like. We'll jump right back to this here in a moment. So I'm back here on the opportunities side. I just clicked the opportunities, and it's going to be listing, I believe active negotiations is where we put it. I can actually click on all of these bubbles right here on all these pipelines. So you see each one of these bubbles are clickable, but right below these bubbles, you'll have a number associated with this picture right here. So 23200. This shows you how many opportunities are in this section right here. So at a glance, what we should be able to see is we should be able to do this. So right here, I have in my listing side, I have two opportunities I'm cultivating in my listings, 2 appointments, 2 active, 0 under contract, and 0 closed. On my buyer side, I have 1 I'm cultivating, 1 appointment, 4 active, 1 under contract, and 0 closed. So this is how quickly you should be able to identify what's going on with your business and in your transactions right here, okay? So again, really easy way for us to be able to quickly identify where we're at and what's going on. So if I click on this active bubble right here, you'll see that we actually have like some squares right here. So I have a square in staging and I have a square in negotiations. And each one of these squares right here, I can actually I have 2 hands. I have one that kind of looks like a paw right here, and then I have one that looks like a finger pointer. So I'm going to use the paw, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to drag this over. And this is how you would drag your opportunity over from the different phases right here. So we'd go from staging to showing to negotiations. And then when we're done with negotiations right here, we'll move this. And then we'll move this to under contract up here. One small little tip is it's kind of hard to see, but you have to, I'm not sure if you noticed, but that dotted line around under contract has to be blue in order for us to get that to stick to that under contract section. So once I have that in the blue dotted line, then it'll stick over. But if it doesn't, I'll just, like right here, it's gray. I can it'll just snap back to where where it was before. So going back to this opportunity right here that we just created, again, I have that paw that I can move from left to right, but I can also click on the actual opportunity title right here. I'm going to move this back to active. Just because under contract and closed, I think you're a little bit limited in your options. But active right here, I'll go ahead and click on the title, the blue title. And then as you see right here, it says Morgan Heights My Listing. And you should be able to see that information on the bottom of that we've added for that opportunity. The right-hand side is going to be the property address and things like that in the seller's worksheet. Now, since this is on the listing side right here, we can actually select the listing that we have. My best suggestion is move from show only my listings to show all listings. Every once in a while, only my listings kind of don't really work too well. But if we show all listings and then we type in the address right here, it should start to populate that information for us. And then we can just go down the list and we can look for that listing here. And then we can attach it to that opportunity. And as you see, once I attach that listing, it attached that property information as well. So I'm going to move over here. There's going to be another section in your opportunities where we're going to have documents right here. If I go ahead and click on documents, this is where you're going to go to this is where you're going to go to upload your documents to your principal reviewing broker of your market center so they can approve them for you, okay? So here's a way to look at this. So ignore all this for a second. We're only going to look at this left-hand side right here. Right here you have your residential. There may be other sections. If you belong to a different market center, there could be other sections right here as well. But typically you'll have your listed, under contract, and closed right here. So these represent the different stages you're at throughout your transaction on the listing side. Your buyer side's going to have one too, and they're going to require different documents. So on the listing side, for listed right here, these are all of the documents that you need to approve, that you need to send to your principal reviewing broker to approve. Next, you have under contract right here, and these are all the contracts that you need for under contract. And then you're closed right here. Now, taking a look over here on the right-hand side, I'm on the listed. What we have right here is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different drop-downs right here. These are just titles to organize our different bits of information. So first and foremost, I'm going to start off from the right-hand side. This is your file. This is where we go to add that individual file that this section is asking for, okay? So this says what type of file. This is an agreement. The document is going to be optional additional documents right here. The requirement is going to be optional, and the status. If you add a file, it'll say added and then or uploaded, and then if you submit it to your market center right here, it'll say that it is submitted or under review and so on. So this will be your status of what's going on with that current document. But as we see right here where this is highlighted, these are going to be all the documents that it's asking for. Listing addendum right here, CMA right here, listing kit, disclose limited agency, and so on. So again, these are your documents. It'll also tell you if it's optional, conditionally required, contingent on the property, or required. So again, you'll have all of these things stating what they need. And again, if you want to organize based off of contract or disclosure, things like that, you can do that here. If you have all these documents already and you don't want to go one by one, up above here, you have a attach multiple files section. So I can attach multiple files, and I can just drag and drop all of my documents right here, hit attach, and then submit to Market Center. Now, there's going to be one other section right here, and this is going to be start a transaction, and this is going to be how you initiate that DocuSign, that KW DocuSign. If you do not see this button right here, What we'll need to do is we'll need to click on our name, go to settings, and in our settings right here, find your DocuSign section. It may be housed under your digital signature and transactions, but we'll need to connect this DocuSign account, have it say connected right here, and then you should be able to see that that button I was referencing. Again, in order to initiate this DocuSign, just go ahead and click on Connect Account. It'll fill in your information. It'll send you a registration email where you'll create your password and security question. And one last thing, just kind of come back here at the end after creating your password, and there may be one final authorize or connect button right here just to kind of complete it full circle. So jumping back over here, once you've connected your DocuSign account, what you'll see is you'll see that that dark gray button. We'll wait for this to load up here. This dark gray button that says start a transaction. So once we click this, what this will do is this will create a DocuSign room solely for this one opportunity. So solely for Morgan Heitzma listing for this opportunity right here, you're going to have your very own DocuSign room. So again, this is important to note just so you know that you're not confusing documents with other transactions and things like that. Once I click start a transaction and it creates a room, this button will turn white with blue lettering, just like this right here, just like the add a file button. So I'm going to click start a transaction. What you should see is this pop-up of this connect to DocuSign right here. I'm just going to connect. It's going to ask me for a verification code right here. Give me just a moment. Oops, that's not it. There we go. And if it's been a while or if you signed out, it may ask you to create a room. There we go. We'll click go to transaction again. And let me see if I accidentally used I think I used a different email address. There we go. All right, there we go. So yeah, so again, make sure you're using the correct email when you sign in right here. I'll go ahead and refresh this just to make sure it kicks over the correct login. We'll click go to transaction right here. And what it should do is, as you see right here, that 123 Main Street, it created its very own DocuSign room. Now, I'm not going to go too in depth into this DocuSign, but I just want to show you a couple things. Inside of your DocuSign right here, you have this blue add button right here. So if you click this, this is where you're going to connect your zip forms. Okay, you'll connect your zip forms username and password. And once you connect this, you'll be able to drag your zip forms, either blank forms or your transactions folders from DocuSign, from zip forms into your DocuSign, okay? So, and you'll be able to finish them up and complete them right here. So start to get in the habit of dragging your zip forms into your DocuSign right here, filling them out. And then once you have your document right here, let's just say, it's just a random document. Once you have your document right here, what you can do is you can hover over, you can click to view it, or you can hover over it, and there should be this circle in the top left-hand corner. If we give this a click, right here, there will be a toolbox that opens up. You see that right here? Here you'll be able to create an envelope. And this is where you'll go to send out your DocuSign, okay? So you'll add a recipient. You can add an email recipient right here. or a room recipient. I'm just gonna add myself as a room recipient. And right down below here will be message to all recipients. So this will be your email, what your email subject line is going to be and what it says right here. Once we hit next over here, what you should see is you should see your document. And here you'll actually be able to apply different signatures and things like that to it. So, so as you see right here, your left-hand side is going to be all the different tools that you can apply to your document. On the right-hand side is going to be all the editable features for that tool. So, for example, this just shows me the different pages that I have right here. If I click and drag signature over, on the right-hand side it opens up those different editable tools. So is this signature going to be required or not required? I'm going to say this signature is going to be required. You can put the name right here and so on. Once you feel confident, you can click recipient preview to see what it looks like from the recipient side, and then send it out. And again, we'll be doing a more in-depth video or training on DocuSign, but this would be how you set up your DocuSign account. All right, let's see here. So I think I'm going to duck back out of opportunities here. I'm going to go ahead and cross off number 2 here. I'm not quite sure if we're going to make it to campaigns, but I'll do my best. What we'll do here is if we miss that, we'll just cover it next Wednesday. But I think I should be able to cover at least a email design for you guys here today, okay? So let's jump in. Again, I'll start off by clicking this red KW square and make our way to designs right here. Now, you guys, I'm always looking for feedback. Please tell me what you think about this new study hall, your thoughts, ideas. Do you like it? Is there improvements that you see that we could make, and so on, okay? So your input is very, very valuable. So take the guesswork out for me and just tell me what you guys like, what you don't like, and what you want. So inside our designs here, what we're going to do is we have email, social, print, and video. These are just going to be your different organizational methods for your designs right here. So we're going to click on this blue plus button on the bottom right-hand corner. And this is how we get to be able to create these designs right here. So first and foremost, we have email, social, print, video, and import PDF. Import PDF is kind of special in this case, in where if you have a flyer or a PDF that you really like, what you can do is you can import it, and more often than not, it should be able to separate all the different layers of that PDF for you, where you will be able to utilize that flyer in a more constructive way for your marketing. It really only kind of works based off of the PDF that you import. Like if if the quality is really low, it may not separate very well, but more often than not, it does a pretty decent job. We're going to jump into email right here. We'll click next. And here in email, you have a couple different options. So let's focus on the top left-hand corner. You have KWRI templates and you have My Design templates. So once you start creating templates of your own, they'll be housed right here for you, okay? If you want stock templates to utilize, KWRI templates are going to be the ones to choose. So KWRI templates, they have up to 72 templates to choose between. So you really have a large variety to filter between. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on a random KWRI template. I'm just going to do Modern Newsletter B. But before I do that, before we jump in there, there's going to be a couple other features too. So we can create a new template, which this will just jump us into a brand new template, or we can import HTML. So if you have other agents or people within your team or your group that are working on email designs, what you can do, they can actually download or export those designs, and you can import them yourself. So if you're working on it with a team, your team can have kind of the pretty much the same exact email lineup, only with like different agents' informations. So pretty cool. You'll just be able to import your file right here, or for those of you who are a little more advanced, if you have a email that you like, if you know how to copy and paste the code, which we can go into a little bit later, we have that here as well. So I'm going to back out right here. Create an email newsletter. I'm going to choose that modern newsletter B, and then next right here. So first and foremost, on the left-hand side, what we should see is our email template. But one thing to note is that you may see some things that kind of look like this, where it says Market Center name, and it has a broken image. Don't be discouraged when you see that. If you click on this eyeball in the top right-hand corner, you'll see preview. You'll actually be able to see what it looks like from the recipient's point of view. So here you'll be able to see things a little bit better, where it shows you those images. Now, first and foremost, again, this is your email. The right-hand side is going to be all the tools that you can apply to your email design. So, for example, let's just start off with the image here. I'll click on image, and when I click on the object, you'll see a delete or a pencil. I'm going to keep this image here. I'm going to click on the pencil, and on the right-hand side, it'll open up my my editable section right here. So here I can click replace, and I can replace this with any kind of picture I want. I can add images from my computer, but I'll just use this just to make it a little bit quicker for us. So I'll use this right here. I can actually attach a link to this image. So I'm going to attach my study hall website, and that looks pretty decent. Now what I can do here, there's going to be 3 sections up top here. You'll have done, save, and save and exit. And I know that these kind of sound very similar. So just keep in mind, if you're editing any pieces or objects on your marketing, we're going to want to choose done right here. So we'll hit done, and then I'll hit save. And then once I preview this right here, you should see my my image start to apply right here, and so on. And if I send this out, in an email, since I applied that website, clients are actually going to be able to click on this image, and it will take them straight to Study Hall, straight to my Study Hall page. Again, if I want to click on text right here, this was an image that we edited, so it had an image tools. If I click on text right here, it'll swap it with kind of text tools. So as you see right here, kind of like that Microsoft Word sort of a toolbox up top here. Here we can actually bold, underline, and then when we hit done, it should apply that information right there. Another cool thing is we have this feature in text where we can actually write a paragraph out, and we can apply these as kind of tags to this email to auto-generate little bits of information. So if I wrote hello, if I go up here, I can actually click client first name, and I'll scroll down to right here where it says contact first name. Now, what it says right here is every time this gets sent out, it doesn't matter who it sends out in your database, it'll pull that first name in your database and it'll automatically apply it right here. So let's say, hello, John. Hello, Stephanie. Hello, Karen. So all of these sections right here will auto-populate with that client's information. And it has all these different tags that you can choose between: agent first name, agent bio, things like that. So agent Twitter, agent Instagram, market center name. So go through here and really kind of tag out your emails. These are really going to make these emails more personalized when you send them out, and make it look less of a canned response. Link right here. So this is actually a button. When we click on this right here, you actually have a button. All right, join us live. And again, we can add that web page. And then you can actually choose to make it square or rounded. And when I hit done right here, it'll say join us live. And then they'll be able to click on this button where it'll take them straight to my website. A couple other features here. Let me show you one other thing. I know we're a little bit over on time, but let me show you video right here because it's pretty cool. I'll throw a video in right here. It's very similar to your images, but when I click on this, you'll have a video URL. So you'll put a YouTube link in right here, and then you'll put a picture. So I typically have like maybe a picture of myself, or take a screenshot of the recording and add a little kind of play button. It may have this auto-generated play button here for you, and then just kind of indicating that it is a video. And once you like your setup right here, I know this is not the best layout, but I think it really kind of covers all the editable topics. When you're feeling confident with your piece of email content, on the top right hand corner right here, we have this options button where we can click on this and choose send test email, and we can actually send a test email to ourselves. To see what it actually looks like from that recipient's point of view. So again, and one last thing, we can download that template, much like what I was talking about. We can download this template in case in case you want other team members or other individuals to upload it and still utilize those valuable resources. So, all right, you guys, I think that may be it for my time here. Let me know in the comments down below, or in the chat box. Was this valuable? Did you guys learn anything? Are you guys looking forward to the next study hall? What do you want to experience, learn, know that I can bring to the table here for you guys? Again, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be back in the study hall for the next Wednesdays to come at 10 a.m. So looking forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday. Please reach out if you guys need anything at all. I'll leave my my information in the chat box below. All right, have a great rest of your day, you guys.